It's got one.
No, wait till you're in Mexico.
Okay, good. I'm not answering my phone in Mexico.
I'll be at your house waiting for you.
Okay, I'll just let him know that we'll get that taken care of.
You and Renee can talk.
Can we get the variance signed, the application, or? Okay.
I'm not letting her go. I want some peace and quiet.
It has an
It'd be a
entrance.
shame if I showed up down there.
Okay, so we'll just table both of them?
It'd be a shame for you to have connection with the cartel.
Because the board doesn't
We
want
would
to
know how to
sign
do
the
that.
variance agreement before they grant the variance.
They would take you so fast.
So
All right, I'll let him know.
This is Trump's grandpa. God.
Well, yeah, I'm just some average person, but Trump's great. That's a different ballgame.
Yeah, they probably wouldn't like Trump's grandpa.
Unless you need me, I might go back.
So we're gonna need to do this.
Well, we don't have the internet up or the intranet up, and we don't have any hot water back. Apparently, we had a problem with the water here at the water store at the center.
it's getting connected, but maybe they are.
The hot water.
This weekend it was shut off, I know that.
At that same time. Thank heavens we had cold water because they'd already soaked up my hands. Okay, we ready? Ding. Good afternoon. Hello? Good afternoon. At this time, we will open the Hamilton County Drainage Board for our meeting of October 13, 2025. Let the record reflect we have a quorum of all three members. First item on the agenda is approval of Drainage Board minutes of September 22, 2025.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next item, utility separation standards, proposed revisions.
Yes, for the board's information and input, I am recommending that we reduce the 10-foot vertical separation between utilities crossing regulated drains from 10 feet to 5 feet below the drain if the tile was reconstructed within the previous 20 years, and then otherwise 7 feet below the drain tile, which would allow 2 foot of material to be removed from the ditch with dredging and still provide that 5 feet of cover.
Discussion.
So moved.
Second.
Are we going to require the standard agreement on crossings?
If
That we
they,
have hold harmless and repairs in the event there's a conflict?
if they still request a variance from this standard.
Well, do we want to maintain that requirement on any crossing?
Yes,
Yeah, we can make that part of the crossing permit.
Okay, so if we make this change, it's the understanding of the board, you will require the indemnification, et cetera, on all crossings?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next item, water availability study, 2025 contract.
Yes, this is a contract with Interra to continue collecting data and maintaining the network of well monitoring stations throughout the county as part of the water availability study. The council did approve an additional appropriation for the value of this contract in the amount of $106,750. So this is a contract to formally contract with Interra to continue those services.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Hearing requests.
Good morning. Attached is the petition by Circle Property Group
and plans for the proposed reconstruction and relocation of a portion of the Mary Johnson Drain, W.C. Inman and W.C. Inman Arm 2, in order to construct an adventure park called Sky Lake. The plans have been done by Kinley Horn, and they're called the Final Engineering Plans, Mary Johnson Regulated Drain Reconstruction, dated October 1st, 2025. The existing drain on site will be reconstructed and relocated. The existing drain will be destroyed and removed, and the old tile easement vacated. The off-site drain will be reconstructed in alignment with the existing drain, and a new arm will be constructed parallel with the reconstructed drain. The project will add 605 feet to the overall length of the Mary Johnson Drain. The relocated regulated drain will be contained within a dedicated 40-foot wide easement that is granted by Sky Lake Land Trust, LLC, in the unrecorded secondary plat of Sky Lake subdivision. The cost of the project is to be paid by Sky Lake Land Trust, LLC, and the petitioner has not submitted surety for the proposed drain reconstruction at this time. Per the board's policy, if approved, the developer shall submit surety in the amount of 120% of the engineer's estimate prior to reconstruction. The surveyor's office recommends a hearing date to be set for November 24th, 2025.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Preliminary variance request, Sly Run Drain, fill in the floodplain, Montclair.
Yes. Oh, are you here for that?
Yes, I am here for that.
All right. I was going to say, Steve Cash would normally presented this, but he is not here, and your name?
I'm Brian Nunn with MI Homes. So, basically, we plan to meet all the requirements for fill in the floodplain and seek no variations for this, or no variances. My apologies. And basically, we are looking for a preliminary concurrence for this, and we will seek board final approval.
So what kind of improvements are you putting in the floodplain?
So basically, the entrance to our subdivision will go across a current drainage ditch, and so we're basically creating a compensatory storage south of that, and that's our proposal, is to kind of be able to capture all of that just in a different location than how it's currently done.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Welcome. Variance requests.
The first one is a request from Indian American Water for 10-foot vertical separation for a sanitary sewer crossing of the William Krause Drain. This was previously approved by the board, and this is for the final approval of the variance and includes the signed variance agreement from Indiana American Water.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah. So the second one is a crossing variance for deviation from ordinance number 32502-A for vertical separation for the crossing. We're going to move to table this because we have the...
Did you say which drain, et cetera?
The Alva Osborne drain.
Thank you.
We're going to move to table this one because we have the application ready as well as the agreement sheet that we discovered that the cross-reference instrument number for the existing parcel was not written on the agreement. So we're gonna table that until we get that.
Motion to table.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Emily Vestal, please.
Yes, before you is a variance from filling the floodplain ordinance for the purpose of a roundabout at the intersection of 126th and River Road. The drain is the Emily Vestal regulated drain. The proposal received preliminary concurrence by the Drainage Board on July 28th, 2025, and we received a approval memo from Christopher Burke on September 23rd of 2025. The project will place 48 cubic yards of fill within the floodplain and will remove 144 cubic yards from the floodplain. And at this time, we recommend approval.
So move.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And William Lair.
This is similar to the William Krause drain. This was approved previously. You should have the agreement, the signed agreement in front of you to be signed.
Do we need to approve it?
Yes, final
Motion
approval.
to approve.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And do we have that agreement for signature?
You left it up here, Brad.
Thank you. Start over here. We have no final reports. We have a list of 11 non-enforcements. 1 through 9 are listed as approved, or recommendation for approval by the surveyor's office.
Motion to approve 1 through 9.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then we have 10 and 11 that are recommended for denial. Could you present on the requested denials?
I don't know. Yes, okay. I was already the last one, okay. So the first one up is on the John Owen Drain. It's the Lanning Sess Macaulay fence. I think it's going to be pulled up on the screen here in a moment. The property owner is requesting a encroachment into the 70-foot drainage easement along the rear line of the parcel. However, throughout this development, there is a creek line that also has a significant floodway and floodplain. The property has the limits of the boundaries of the property go on both sides of the creek line, so that means the flow line would be within the property itself. The proposed fence would be.
Could you point out the property, please? Because the addendums did not have that marked, and next time, please mark what areas for the board, because I couldn't tell what lot was lot without a bunch of research.
So within this floodway, floodplain, this is an older neighborhood within Noblesville, and there were questions as to what was originally within the secondary plat and whether or not there had ever been a floodplain study done in order to establish what the BFE of that area would be. After consulting with the original engineer that designed the plans, it was determined that the floodway was significant along this area. This neighborhood was designed so that the creek line would not be encroached within, and it does rise. The BFE is essentially right at where the drainage easement starts for the 70-foot drainage easement line. Per aerials, at least internally, it does show two different easement lines, but the one that the surveyor is focused on is the 70-foot drainage easement. So with this information, when discussing with the surveyor, it is not feasible to have a fence raised to the BFE because of the location, and the rest of the parcels or the precedent within the neighborhood is that there should be no fences or encroachments within the regulated drainage easement. due to the safety, the concern with flooding ending up into the homes, and then last but not least, the fact that it's floodplain. So with that, the surveyor has made a recommendation of denial for any fence being within the drainage easement.
Are there any existing fencing, is there any existing fencing in that?
There is one fence that was brought to our attention by this property owner that is to the south on the east side of the creek line, and per discussion with the surveyor, I've been advised to issue a violation in the coming weeks.
So the reasoning is what on denial again?
The reasoning is due to the where the BFE is located on the grade of the parcel line. This does not allow the fence to be appropriately placed in a safe location where it would not prevent flooding or debris being captured within that fence line if a 2, 10, 50, 100-year flood were to occur through the neighborhood, because that neighborhood was designed to use that as the flood route, meaning there's no alternative routing for that water to go.
So if the homeowner kept it at the drainage easement line, that would be acceptable because there's no prohibition, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
And that leaves approximately 13 feet between, they have a playground, a children's playground, and the rear of their property, but obviously it's significantly a smaller area that the property owner is not in favor of.
Okay. It appears the homeowner is here. Would you like to present?
Yes, I would.
Would you please state your name and your
Yes.
address, please?
Yes, good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Margot McCauley, and the address is 21218 Carlton Court, Noblesville, Indiana, 46062. I am a working mom, and I have 3 young children. They're aged 5, 3, and 1. I'm the co-owner of a utility maintenance company based here in Hamilton County. I'm here, obviously, to present a case for non-enforcement. I have pictures as well, if I have the opportunity to pass those out. When I purchased our home in June, as a mom, of course, the safety of my children was my top concern. So the property has a creek running through the middle of the backyard, as you guys can see. And prior to closing, I made it clear to the sellers, who were wonderful, my realtor, the HOA, that I would only move forward with the purchase if a fence was permitted. Everyone involved, along with multiple professional surveyors and fence companies, confirmed there'd be no issue. And the property survey confirmed it was not located in a flood zone. That was under FEMA map. I have the list here. I also have it printed out that I was given. Neither my lender nor my home insurance required flood insurance. So, before closing, I submitted my fence permit to the city of Noblesville. I was told I needed the non-enforcement agreement with the county surveyor's office. For the portion of the fence within the regulated easement, I know there were some numbers thrown out, but that's roughly 8 feet. I'm asking for 8 feet within the easement, although we have a very large easement within our backyard. At no point did anyone indicate that a fence would be prohibited entirely. In fact, the city of Noblesville stated I could move forward that day with the fence if I chose to go a different route than pursuing the non-enforcement with the county. I filed that application promptly with the county prior to closing on the home. I submitted a signed waiver of liability with the city of Noblesville, and I proposed an open aluminum fence allowing for water flow and minimal impact, and I was told from a representative within the county surveyor's office that this was the best type of fence possible, as it was considered non-permanent and it allowed water flow. And as a local business owner, I've had a long and positive working relationship with the county surveyor's office and the Hamilton County Drainage Board through our company's work in the utility and drainage space, and I fully respect that these processes must be followed and they can take time. And I've approached this situation with the same patience and professionalism. And after months of waiting and assurances that my request was under review, I was ultimately informed that the fence was denied, and not only was it denied, I could have no fence of any kind within my backyard. I could have it along the side of the house or in the front of the house, which of course would not serve the purpose of protecting my children from the creek. I was shocked, just especially after seeing that the neighboring properties, there's multiple that have solid wood fences, there's sheds, there's pools along that line, and I was told those are above my house. I am below those. I was told it was because my property was in a flood zone, which greatly confused me as everything I had done before purchasing the home showed that it was not in a flood zone. I have that survey with me. Then during that conversation, I just asked the county representative what my options were, and really I was coming there as a mother, right? I've just been told there's nothing I can do. We've moved within the last 3 months, and if I have to move again, that's fine, but what are my options now? I am a mom. I know the person I was speaking to was a mom. The response I was given was, I would have never purchased a home in a flood zone. So that response felt unprofessional and void of any true guidance. The truth was, that came out later in the conversation, I did have an option, and that was to come here today, so that is why I'm here. I would like to state that I did my due diligence on the front end before purchasing this home. I did not purchase a home that was in a flood zone. At the time, the information I was given, I do not know where or how that misinformation came, but the property I purchased was not in a flood zone. Like I mentioned, I'm a working mom. My kids are at home without me often. We purchased Ring cameras, motion sensors, child-proof locks, no going outside without mom or dad. We did swim lessons, but accidents happen, and safety for me as a mom and for the company I own is always number one. I'd like to emphasize, I'm not disputing the county's authority over the easement. I'm simply requesting permission under a non-enforcement agreement, acknowledging full responsibility for removal or relocation of the fence at my expense without notice, if ever required for drainage maintenance or emergency. I also feel it's important to note that I may have been given misleading or incomplete information. I'm not sure when that was, at the time of purchase or now, which directly influenced a significant financial decision for my family. And I'm here today to respectfully ask that the board consider my good faith efforts and the clear precedent set by nearby properties, and above all, the safety of my kids. I appreciate that it was mentioned that outside of the easement I could have that fence. That was my biggest fear. So thank you for your time and for considering my request.
Well, it does appear that there's some misunderstanding to me, because we've got a 70-foot drainage easement. But anything outside of that easement, I think you're free to fence, which would contain the play area I think I see depicted on here. But unfortunately, that creek is very close to the 70-foot line. So despite your due diligence and all the work you did, I think maybe you have recourse against the professionals that helped you. But I just can't see allowing encroachment within that area due to the reasons stated. That's my opinion.
Well, I disagree. Given the due diligence you've done, I would make a motion that we approve this as long as she signed a acknowledgement that if we had to get there, she would remove the fence at her expense.
Or we would remove it.
Or we would remove it at her expense.
Without consent.
The concern of the surveyor's office is the fence catching debris and it causing a problem with the surrounding properties. So the removal.
If it does, then
fence,
she'll have to remove it.
well, it's a little late after it's flooded other neighbors.
For the record, having been involved in numerous real estate transactions.
Mike, let me see if I can get a second from him.
Oh, okay.
Second.
If you look at your title insurance policy, if it's like any of the hundreds I've seen, disclaims any drainage, encroachment into a drainage easement or railroad right of way, because frankly, title insurance companies don't understand the law in that area. And the rest of the people that you brought out that you relied upon probably had the same understanding of those easements as the title company. So we have a lot of people coming in with your same reasoning. Nobody told me that. And you can rely on all the professionals you want, but a lot of those professionals have made the same representations to other people, and you don't have the authority to make them. These are the only people who have that authority.
Yeah, but Mike, I think there's a difference between no one telling her that and her doing her due diligence and asking people and getting into the weeds. and being misled. Now, I agree with Christine, she probably has some legal recourse, but I'd hate to have to see her do that at this point. So that's the reason for my motion.
But did you look at these pictures?
Yes.
Is the railroad tie basically where that easement line is?
No, yes and no. The railroad tie is approximately 1.5 to 2 feet, depending on where you're standing, because it's a curved backyard with the flow line of the creek. But that's roughly the top of bank of the creek line. But the actual drainage easement extends farther to the, northwest of the railroad tie.
By
The
how
beginnings
much?
of it. It's closer up to the very, you can't see it on the aerial, but there's a play gym, and it's the corner of the play gym is where the actual limits of the easement begin.
Well, it doesn't look like that under this area.
No.
It doesn't look that way at all under the aerial. Did anybody survey this from the surveyor's office?
No, we do not do private
Well,
surveys.
if you look at your aerial that you're showing us on, the play area is inside the unrestricted area for yard.
Correct, so, got too many papers.
That's why I'm curious as to why we have this controversy, because it clearly looks like the 70 feet would afford plenty of backyard for this family.
And of course, that's what's set up.
We have not established that 70-foot.
Let's see, I
Well,
can't
just look
find
at the
photo.
aerial. That's where I'm confused.
In answer to your
It's the
question.
right house.
Yes, it's the correct house. There is plenty of room for a fence, but during numerous conversations with the property owner, that's not what they wanted. And so they wanted the fence encroaching into the easement because of the aesthetics of the yard. So, in answer to your question though, I do not know exactly where the easement starts because I don't have a survey before me, but the railroad ties is not the beginning of the drainage easement. It's the top of the bank of the
According
creek
to the
line.
aerials.
Question?
All in favor?
Aye.
No. You have your variance? Moving on. Item 11, Mary Wilson Drain, Oak Park Arm.
Yes, I got a call from the contractor a couple hours ago asking me to table this until the next meeting, just so they'll be available and able to attend.
Motion to table.
Second?
Discussion, I do want some clarification when you resubmit this, please.
Okay.
It's a little more information on what we're looking at and where the stuff's placed.
Okay.
And any other aerials that you give us, please depict the lot that we're talking about.
Okay.
Because we can't guess. Thanks.
Okay.
Oh, and note on her variance, the removal part of the fence, that was part of your consideration,
Yes.
correct?
Yep.
Okay. Violations, Jackson Township fire illicit discharge.
If you all recall, a few months ago, the surveyor and I brought before you the Jackson Township IDDE incident report regarding the Jackson Township Fire Department up off 266th Street in Arcadia, Indiana. Per the, what date would it be? April, oh goodness. I think it was the July 14th meeting. No. On April 28th, 2025, excuse me. The Hamilton County Drainage Board imposed a fine of $300 for the Jackson Township prime contractor or construction operator. The surveyor's office sent out a IDDE fine discharge letter, and the prime contractor, which is BW Construction, did end up paying that fine, and we have issued the receipt for that. Per today, that is consideration that the deficiencies found on site are brought back into compliance, and this case is now essentially closed. So it's just an FYI to the board.
Okay.
Just for the record, I was up there last week, and I met with Steve Hartley, he lives right down the street, but he was really upset at that because of how it was flooding too, and that he said the discharge, they were pumping it onto his own property too. He was pretty upset about it.
Well, he could sue. I mean, he has a direct right of action against the people concentrating the flow just under water rights law.
Yeah, there's some issues too. It looks like the street too, where they put the culvert underneath there, looks like it's starting to fall apart towards the very edge. I'm gonna have to make sure that we talk to the highway people, because it looks like it's gonna get worse there where they put that culvert underneath there.
Is that a new culvert or?
Yeah, yep. And you could see, there's a cut in the, right where they put it too.
If you, we can conduct a active construction inspection to follow up on site items.
We'll reach out to the highway department.
Good. And I have a question. Is the first time we notified them of the fine September 22nd for this letter?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Why does it take that long?
We have never issued a fine before, so it took us a while to figure out how to actually do that. They will not take that long in the future.
Okay. Sounds good. We have no spills, no surety acceptance, surety release.
Yes, we recommend that the surety for Maple Run Section 7 be released at your meeting this afternoon.
Okay. Change orders.
Yes, change order number 1, Murray Wilson, Oak Park Drain Reconstruction. One of the crossings, as the crossing was being built, we identified the need for some additional stone, just to make everything more or less improve the crossing. So this is a change order for additional stone used for one of the crossings. Amount of $844.76.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Next change order, please. Yes, this is for the J.S. McCarty Drain Phase 3. This is change order number 1. One of the manholes, as designed, was at a certain elevation, and once it's installed and looking at the surrounding grade, it was slightly above existing grade, so we lowered it to make sure water can drain to it. So, and this requires, since the manhole was constructed, we need a new frame. They've got to remove some of the riser rings that have already been masticed in. So it's a little bit of work to do, but the change order is for $3,708.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
This next change order is for the Hortonville reconstruction, change order number 1. This project was bid for the entire project, so installing drainage infrastructure throughout the entire town of Hortonville, and based on the available funding, we had to significantly reduce the scope of that project, and this change order addresses that reduction in the cost, and it also eliminates line items that will not be installed as part of the project, and it also, we allowed the contractor to evaluate his pricing based on significant reduction in costs based on bids he received for the bid amount. And so there was a slight increase due to that. And so once it's all said and done, The bid submitted on August 26, 2024 was $1,277,000. What was approved in the surveyor's report was $416,224. With a 15% contingency, the total construction cost was would then be estimated to be $478,656.60. So the value of this change order is a deduct of $794,328.80. And the value of the contract would then be $482,671.20.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Is this contract been approved?
Yes, it has. It was signed. We had to have it signed for the ARPA money.
Yep.
Okay, so we're finally getting to the change order to
Yes.
be in compliance.
Yes.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Construction updates.
Yes, Claire Notch Drain, Park Broadway Arm Phase 2. This was a project I was hoping to talk about earlier, but we ran out of time. This is the one that the residents at the very southern end of the project are no longer in support of the project. They don't see the need for it, but our contractor still wants to move forward with the project, and that is my intention. But
I would think that if they don't want it, and we did talk to the attorney too,
What attorney?
Connor
Oh.
Sullivan, in regards to, because this is a unique case in regards to they have ARPA money allocated towards it, and could there be an opportunity, if they don't want this, that we use this ARPA money on another project that's been designated on it? And they said that if it was, then we could shift that if that's the case.
right.
I thought the explanation last meeting was that this is where the discharge goes.
It is.
So how do you cut it out with not having a positive outlet?
Well, it would be, the decision is, do we want to do the project at all? I know we've been trying to get it done for over 4 years, but this particular section there's really 3 distinct areas of the project. If we were to not do this project, we could still do the other two areas. This would just not drain at least 2 intersections, if not 3. And some of the roadside swales that drain south from 103rd to 102nd. So we're intercepting the water up at 103rd Street and taking that water to College Avenue. And what the residents are claiming is that work has resolved some of the drainage issues that were experienced in the past, and therefore no longer needed. The conveyances downstream of the work we did at 103rd is sufficient to move the water.
What's City of Carmel say?
I have not asked them yet.
I thought that a meeting with City of Carmel was held September 8th.
It was, but we didn't, that was to get the project started. We haven't talked about specifically actually deleting a section of the project with the city.
Well, I think that needs to happen, and I think we need to have another public hearing, because we've heard from a couple citizens, that's not the neighborhood.
I agree.
That's my opinion.
We can do that, sooner the better.
No, let's go ahead and get moving on it, but just because it's typical zoning kind of stuff where a couple of local people come up and you don't hear from everybody.
Correct. It really is just an allegation of several of the property owners at the very southern end of the project area.
Well, they're not getting flooded, which they don't think it's necessary.
Right.
So I suggest we solidify what Carmel wants, because it's their intersections that are going to benefit. And we have a public hearing, and they show up too to put it on the record. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Cool Creek Drain, I'm still working to close that project out. Mary Wilson Oak Park Drain reconstruction, that project continues. I believe they are now north of the soccer fields and continuing to move north. Hortonville drain, we just did the change order for that. The contractor has said once we have that in place, he will order the structures and look to schedule that project. A.F. Ingerman drain, I got an email from the contractor last week asking about if the crops had come out, and I said they're starting to, and that we would follow up and see if the crops along that drain have indeed come out yet for him to mobilize back in and finish that project. William Lear drain, J.S. McCarty Phase 3, I believe we're getting close to.
They're pretty much done.
Yeah. That project's substantially complete, and we had one more run of pipe at the very upstream end to put in that I believe they've done. So that project should be finishing up. West Arcadia Miller Arm, we are still acquiring the easements for that. Emily Vestal Drain, that project has started and they continue to make progress on that. Elwood Wilson Drain, Craig Holland Arm, reconstruction. The contractor is supposed to be out there. We've been trying to reach out to him to get a schedule from him. But we thought that he had started. We'll follow up with that. Anchorage Drain, we needed to acquire a temporary easement from the McKinney property. McKinney?
Yeah.
I think it's McKinney. It's McKinney or something close to that. I apologize for not having that right. I know there's another McKinney on another project, but we've made the offer for the easement, and he has responded back with questions that I need to answer. And Tim Knapp's been in contact with them.
Going back to 4 Hortonville,
Yes.
is the change order complete? I just don't know why the contractor's waiting to order materials, given the supply chain issues.
He hasn't indicated that that it's going to be an issue to get them. He was just waiting for the change order to know which ones he needed to order. So
So where are we on the change order?
it was just, you just
Okay.
approved it.
That's,
Yep.
that one's the one that just got done, got it.
Yes.
I was confused, thank
Yes.
you. Pending as-bills, there are none. Pending final report, William Lair, any change?
No change. That's all me. I just continue to not find time to do it.
Budget and permit update, nothing. Drainage board attorney, I think we have a memo on pending items.
Yes.
And items pending below that.
Yes, I can run through those real quick. Number one, I did reach out again to the HOA, have not heard back. I'm working with Dave Compton on getting that agreement signed, have not heard back. Numbers 4 and 5, those are with the City of Carmel, and I know that Sam Clark continues to try to follow up with the City of Carmel on signing that variance agreement. We have not heard back from that. Elwood Wilson Drain, 1532 South Street acquisition. I know that Tim made the offer to the landowner last week. We have not heard a response yet. Village of West Clay Drain, Meyer Landscaping Agreement. We did get that document back from Meyer Landscaping, but we did find some issues with that, and Sam is going to work with them to make sure we get the right documents back from them. And we just discussed the Anchorage Drain temporary access easement.
Of the final pendings items pending, has the work already been done? We're just trying to follow up documentation?
On which one?
Well, most of them.
Yes, the William McKinstry Drain, that has been done. What we had to do, there is a backflow preventer valve on the pipe that connects Mud Creek.
Okay, I don't need details, I'm
Okay.
just asking in general. Are these things that it's already been done and people haven't followed up on paperwork from the other side?
Correct. For the most
So
part,
we
yes.
need to think of recourse when this happens, and perhaps notify people that no further permits or consideration will be given until the documents come back. I mean, this needs to get done, I'm tired of talking about it.
Yes.
And that includes highway and drainage? So if you make a
Yes.
list of the offending parties, write them a letter, tell them what they need to do, and copy that to highway, so they know not to permit things.
Yes, ma'am.
Anything else come before the meeting?
No, that is all I have.
Move adjourned.
Oh,
It was regarding the crossing variance that we tabled. In the time that we actually tabled it, a representative from the applicant actually did determine what the most current cross-reference instrument number is for the parcel in question. We have the variance agreement ready. It's been signed by citizens. It's like I said, it's a crossing variance. We also have the variance application taken care of. We just figured we'd ask how you'd want to handle it. Do we still need to table it? The variance agreement sheet does have a notary page, but the notary page is not the same page that has the instrument number blank, so I don't know if
What do you suggest?
we could just add it.
if we handwrite it in and got their initial, would that be acceptable to the board?
It would be.
For the change?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then if the board would be okay signing
Motion
it
to
today?
approve.
No, you gotta take it from the table.
What's that? Oh, motion to remove the table.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I've been presented the non-enforcement for the fence of Macaulay. Have you documented the fencing requirements in this document? I just want to make sure everybody understands their responsibilities.
Yes, page 4, which I believe is the top page that you're looking at, provided the board's all right with the wording of that document. From what I took from a few moments ago, it sounded like removable posts, removable panels within the sections that fall within the drainage easement limits. And that is, and I noted the 8-foot encroachment that the property owner was requesting.
But I don't see a page 4, that's my problem. I got 3 or 4, or is that the signature
I know that
page?
she mentioned it in her statement.
Sam,
okay.
while you're up there, can you point to
There it
this,
is. Okay,
Commissioner
it's
Altman?
typed in. I was waiting for him.
Oh, apologies, yes, it is typed in. But yes.
Got it. Okay, finally, anything else to come before the meeting?
That is all I have.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Discussion.